about 487 MP3 players out there, and there's one that has white headphones, the Apple iPod. And how difficult was it to innovate white? Kind of scratch their head. So you're telling us that changing the color of something is innovative? Well, if you're the only white one, it is, and that's what makes it stand out. This is a revolutionary idea to a lot of companies, that you can change the color of something, and have a huge success. Now, it's not the only reason that the iPod has been successful, but it's the only reason that people see those white headphones and think, especially the young kids that want these MP3 players, I have to have one, because they're the ones that are different, they're the ones that stand out, that are truly innovative. And look at the success that Apple's having with that. You know, it's not just an MP3 player that Apple people are buying. 90% of the people that are purchasing an iPod don't have an Apple. They're a Windows user. So it's sort of the Trojan horse into people's lives of an iPod.
And it's illegal to download music in Australia, and that the iPod is so popular.
Yeah, well, I think it's popular because it has this cult status around it now. In fact, we talk about this in the speeches that I'm giving about how the iPod has created its own economy, the iPod McDonald's economy. Have you heard about?
No, tell us a little about that.
So what's happened is that especially young teenage girls really, really want an iPod. And their parents say, oh, I'm not going to pay $500 for a music player. That's crazy. So they go out and get jobs at McDonald's to earn exactly $499, and then they quit and go buy the iPod. And this has impacted McDonald's franchises so much now that when they interview people, they say, do you have an iPod? Because if they don't, they know that there's a good chance that they're going to work only to $499 and then quit and never come back again, because they just want that iPod. So it's created its own economy, this iPod McDonald's economy.
Has that moved into other areas like mobile phones or a personal DVD player? Is that something that kids are starting to do, just get a job for a single item?
Well, there's certainly not the firm loyalty that one used to have. You think, oh, if there's a better offer coming on. But when it comes to kids that are going to school and they're going to get their money from whatever jobs they can get, there are certain devices now, gadgets, that they're really craving. The new mobile phone or an MP3 player or a DVD player or a PlayStation or something. And they'll create this environment where they can raise the money that they need, either by begging their parents for it, or go out and earn it. And once they've earned that money, they don't keep the job. They just drop it. And for McDonald's in particular, this is a big problem, because it's increased their turnover of employees significantly. So that's just one example, but there's lots and lots of examples of things that are, I'd like to use the iPod as the example, because yes, it was an MP3 player, but it wasn't the first. And yes, it had massive storage, but that wasn't the first. And yes, it was small, but that wasn't the first. But it was the first white one. And you can see everybody that's using it. And just by changing the color of something can make you stand out significantly. And the clients focus on different things. It just doesn't even occur to them.
How do you think that has impacted on organisations where perhaps was marketing involved in a decision like that, would you think? And are they working more closely with the product development and the research units within a company? Is that a change, or has that always been happening?
It's always been happening, but it's changed quite a bit. It used to be that companies would have outside firms servicing their account. So a perfect example, if we use Apple again as an example, Apple always used to outsource their industrial design, so the design of their products. They made a decision to take that in-house, and the iMac and the iPod and all those products are all now designed in-house rather than taking it, using an outside firm. So this has impacted service providers quite significantly, because they have clients now that are better educated, have more qualifications, have more resources than ever before. So they're smarter, they're more sophisticated, they're more discerning about what they purchase. They know that they can go get something, hop on the internet and find a freelancer to do something for them rather than have to go to an advertising firm.
Or even go to an advertising firm to ask them how they should allocate a budget.
Yes,
that's probably
right.
something that marketing departments are looking at internally and understanding where diminishing returns are in different mediums and how to structure an advertising plan to maximise results.
So as I've been around talking to these CEOs, I say, wouldn't you agree that innovation is important? How many are actually going to put a program in place? And by far what I find is they all have these intents of doing something innovative, trying something brand new, because they know that the same old thing doesn't work, but many of them go back to doing the same old thing again and again and getting fewer and fewer results from it.
Do you think that's something particular to Australian companies, that Australian companies don't like to innovate as much because budgets are smaller here and there's much greater risk involved in innovating if it doesn't work?
No, I don't think it's peculiar to Australia at all. We're finding it overseas. It's not just an Australian thing. Procter & Gamble a year ago said that even though they increased their advertising budget, their global TV spend, I think it was an increase of about 5%, they weren't getting the same results that they were getting even 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So they have a more integrated approach now where it's not just television advertising, but it's programs to develop word of mouth and new product innovation and moving brands across categories of from soap to shampoo and that sort of thing. So they're doing a lot of just rather than calling a product new and improved. You know this new and improved advertising slogan. It was never new and improved, was it? It was exactly the same thing.
It was in a different coloured bottle.
That's right. It's in a different colored bottle. But they're actually going through these programs now when they find out, oh, it's not working, our advertising is not working the way it has before. I guess we actually will have to be new and improved rather than just advertising new and improved. We'll have to make the changes. We'll have to innovate. And I think that message that if you keep on doing what you did before, you'll get a lower and lower result, the diminishing returns, hasn't got out to everyone. And especially if you're serving a client's account, you don't really want to go to them and say, look, if we do this ad exactly the same way, you're probably going to get a lower result. Would you want to tell that to your client?
Well, no, they might fire you.
That's right. But it's sometimes hard to get senior managers or account clients. It's just hard to sometimes get them to do something completely different. But what we're finding is completely different, new and innovative is the only thing that's working. You can.
What does that mean from a resourcing perspective? Have marketing departments got the right people in there to be able to create new and innovative ideas and programs and ways of reaching consumers?
Well, I don't know if they have the right people. I don't think that's so much the issue. I find that if you give yourself the space, the resources, and a little bit of money to innovate, then it'll happen. But if you don't have the space, the time, the money to innovate, it won't happen. So if you're going to spend 100% of your marketing budget doing marketing that you've done before, you're going to get diminishing returns. But what if you set aside 10% of your marketing budget to do things that you've never tried before, something that's innovative, brand new, like nothing you've ever done before? And what if one of those new things really is hot, it takes off, it booms, and you say, wow, why weren't we doing that before? And this is the problem, is that there's a budget is allocated to do certain type of work, and they try and innovate by doing something, a better ad, better design, but they don't try something completely different, like how could we, for instance, create a word of mouth campaign, using the internet, let's say.